This is your Adventist News, a service of the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, and I'm Stanley Fullard. Coming up in this week's broadcast, Adventist men take an unusual approach to ministry. Our Adventist women share banana bread, and community assisted by local church. These stories and more on this week's Adventist News. An Adventist men's project turned into a community outreach initiative for Rollville, Exuma. The men from the Mount Thompson Seventh-day Adventist Church in Exuma started the roof repair of an elderly lady in that community 2 weeks ago. But what they did not know was the impact it would make. The team of Adventist men were joined by the following week by volunteers consisting of carpenters from Rollville who were impressed to assist in the outreach effort. This project is now completed, but the group of men are further energized to continue this ministry on the island of Exuma. Now that's some good stuff. The latest program, inspired by the God in Shoes initiatives by the Women Ministries Department of our conference, was realized in a banana bread baking tutorial via Zoom. The virtual cooking class hosted women of all ages across the globe who gathered to learn and share. Andrea Musgrove from the Centerville Church led out in the instructional session.
We mashed down a cup and a half of ripe bananas. We added in 3/4 cups of oil. I'm using coconut oil, so I use less sugar than what the recipe calls for. We are not using that cup and a half of sugar. It's too much. I use half a cup. If you want to use 3/4 cups, that's up to you. I think it's quite sufficient. I've used 3 eggs. Some of you have chosen not to use eggs because you don't use eggs. Some people that might be using flax seeds. Some might be using cornstarch. Some people might just be using the white of the egg and not the yolk. However you decided, that's what we have in our bowl, and I've just added a teaspoon of vanilla. Those are my wet ingredients, and that's my dry ingredients right there. And for Jackie, I added my roses in there. Normally, I would just throw them in. Okay. So that's my dry, and that's my wet. I'm done. My mix is wet. Everything is folded in. So let me show you what I look like. What it looks like. See that? Yep.
Persons were then encouraged after the cooking session to share the loaf or loaves of banana bread with someone who was in need. Please stay tuned to our broadcast where you will hear more about the upcoming events from the Women's Ministries Department. In recent times, a number of our Seventh-day Adventist churches have increased the consistency of their feeding programs to their communities. On Thursday, September 17th, members of the New Engliston Seventh-day Adventist Church fed over 300 persons from the areas of St. Barnabas and Engliston hot meals. These individuals were not only fed physically, but spiritually, as they also received a copy of the book, The Great Controversy, along with their meals. As the distributors of the meals ensured that all social distancing protocols were in place, the recipients of the meals left happy and appreciative of the kind gesture. The organizers of the outreach would like to thank the Coconut Grove Police Station, members of the community, and associated businesses and entrepreneurs, as well as the members of the New Engliston Church for their gracious donations and support in this initiative. The church is seeking to host similar initiatives to assist the persons in their community during these challenging times. The newest television show to come to ATV 658 was broadcasted with host Pastor T. Basil Stirrup, Ministerial Director of the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. Pastor Stirrup has taken the initiative by reintroducing this television broadcast to the airwaves, but this time the ministry has a slightly different focus. Power of Truth is a Christian ministry dedicated to reaching atheists, agnostics, and persons categorized as having a secular mind. This is being done through the production and distribution of radio and television presentations designed to arouse interest in studying the Bible and the life and teachings of Jesus Christ.
First of all, you must know that whenever adversity comes, it does not mean that you're in the wrong place. Sometimes adversity comes and remains because you're in the right place. It is your perspective that will determine how it affects you. Isn't it interesting that adversity has the ability to discourage some people, but for others, it becomes the fuel that fires them up? Especially when you are convinced that you have discovered your purpose for being on the planet.
Power of Truth will continue to be aired Sundays at 5:30 p.m. and Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Hope Channel, Cable 658. Welcome back to your Adventist News. Coming up in the South Bahamas Conference, if you want to improve the way you do online or media ministry, the SOAR International Conference is for you. This year's theme is Virtual Ministry, a Strategic Approach. This gathering is for pastors, church leaders, church officers, and members who are eager to get involved and play a role in moving ministry in your church to the next level. SOAR begins Friday, October 9th at 7 p.m., continues Saturday afternoon from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., and climaxes on Sunday morning with sessions from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Registration can be done at the South Bahamas Conference website at southbahamasconference.org. Click on the SOAR flyer or thumbnail and follow the instructions. You can also call 1-242-341-4021 and register by phone. Registration is also free. For the first time within our conference, an online evangelistic campaign will be held called Let's Talk About Him. The series entitled The Cure is set to be launched on October 17th through 31st via our social media platforms. Now that's The Cure. Are you ready? This unique form of evangelism will showcase a cadre of powerful preachers, both local and international. Plan now to attend and share this experience with your family and your friends. Jesus Covers Me is the theme for the virtual week of prayer sessions for our children and adolescents. This exciting time in prayer for youngsters ages 4 through 14 years will be launched on October 25th and climax on October 31st with a joint worship service at 11 a.m. via Zoom. During the week, an emphasis will be placed on the importance of prayer, where the children will be given daily challenges to complete. More information on this new virtual encounter with God can be received from your CHAM leaders. Creation Sabbath will be celebrated throughout the conference on October 24th. Dr. Timothy Standish, a senior scientist at the Geoscience Research Institute, will be the featured speaker at 11 a.m. at the Centerville Church or via the church's YouTube channel as Dr. Standish speaks on Reality Still Matters. The afternoon session will highlight biological evidence for a recent creation, beginning at 4:30 p.m. via virtual platforms. The Rescue Project evangelistic series hosted by the Bethany Seventh-day Adventist Church will begin this weekend, starting at October 3rd via the church's virtual platforms. This initiative is geared toward addressing social issues in society and their role in preparing us for the second coming of Christ. The speaker will be Jamal Franklin, church pastor. The Women's Ministries Department will be holding a virtual conclave October 16th through 18th under the theme, The Gathering Pandemic, Births, Prayer, and Praise. The guest speaker will be Pastor K. White from the South Leeward Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. The events will begin on Friday evening with a prayer and praise Vesper service. Divine Hour will be held Sabbath with Pastor White, while Sunday will feature an interactive panel discussion. We invite all women and GEMS to be a part of this program. For more information on these events, please visit our conference website at southbahamasconference.org, where you can view our news update along with other programming from our cable channel ATV 658, read the weekly logos, and the Adventist page publication from the Nassau Guardian.
triggers an intense emotion that can sometimes cause hostile behavior and activates our fight or flight response. There's no one way to cause anger. In fact, every individual has different triggers. Some people think that anger is a bad emotion and that emotion should be kept in. But bottled anger makes things worse and oftentimes lead to depression and anxiety. Most times, anger pushes us to do better. If handled correctly, it can give us a sense of calm after an outburst and motivate us to effectively solve problems. Our diet can increase our mood when we eat fish and leafy greens that contain dopamine, otherwise known as the feel-good chemical. Even by getting more vitamin D from the sun, we can reduce our incidence of depression and mood disorders. The Better Health Channel suggests healthy ways to manage anger for the long term. 1. Keep a diary of your angry outbursts and try to understand why you get mad. 2. Exercise regularly. 3. Learn relaxation techniques such as meditation or yoga. Ephesians 4 verse 26 says, "Be ye angry, and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath." This has been Parisha Ferguson with your health tip, courtesy of Adventist Television. And remember, God wants us to prosper and be in good health.
We go now to our news feature from around the world with the Adventist News Network.
Global Affairs Canada has approved approximately $2 million Canadian dollars or $1.5 million US dollars in funding for an ADRA COVID-19 response in the Cambodian provinces of Preah and Kampong Thom, in addition to 198 villages. ADRA's response focuses on protecting the gains made in maternal, newborn, and child health and sexual reproductive health and rights in the Enhanced Mother, Newborn, Child Health in remote areas through health care and community engagement, or EMBRACE project. It works to reduce or prevent local COVID-19 transmission and the disproportionate effects of COVID-19 on women and girls at the household, community, and at structural level. While Cambodia currently has relatively few confirmed cases and has yet to experience rapid case increases and local transmission, the public health system will be quickly stressed if there is a significant outbreak. The return of migrant workers poses a significant risk for a local outbreak. Health facilities have been set up to screen returning workers in the target provinces. Immediate support to the resource-constrained host government is critical to containing COVID-19 and its negative impacts at a larger scale. Since February 2016, ADRA has been implementing the EMBRACE project with funding from Global Affairs Canada. The project aims to improve the health and nutrition of mothers and children in targeted communities, and this additional funding will help respond to the COVID-19 impacts in target areas.
And that brings us to the end of our Adventist news from the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. Please feel free to share what is happening at your church by sending us your news stories and upcoming events by email to spcadventistnews@gmail.com. To view a rebroadcast of the Adventist news, along with other programming, or simply to keep in touch with what's happening in our conference, you can visit our conference website at southbahamasconference.org. Like, follow, and subscribe to our Facebook and Instagram pages, as well as our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team of Adventist Television Channel 658, thank you for watching our news broadcast. I'm Stanley Fullord for the SBC Media Network. Have a happy Sabbath.